So let's talk about what happened. So as I understand it, the DOD rules package has gone to OMB. What does that mean?
Well, that kind of means that, simply put, the rules themselves are outside of the Department of Defense's hands for writing. So I think a simple way to look at it is that this is just part of our general federal rulemaking process. There's a lot of different agencies involved, a lot of different offices that take part in that process for a lot of different reasons. But one of the very key things that happened here is, again, the rules themselves, what we're going to see in black and white in the new DFARS clause. DOD said in July that they feel good with where they're at on that. So they were comfortable turning that over to the next step and the next level. So now it's going through the rulemaking review, and that's where it's at right now with OIRA and OMB.
Right, and my understanding is they've got 90 days to go review process.
Yeah. So I interestingly, in one of the last Cyber AV town halls, there was a great presentation and a great sort of crowdsourcing of data related to these rules, and it works out to be right about 60 to 90 average business days to get through one of these processes. So there is requirement that OMB at this point in time follow the procedure that they're supposed to on their end of things. But in all actuality, yeah, we're looking like 60 to 90 business days of time before we get the update from them that they need to add in now.
Gotcha. And as I understand it, there are two likely outcomes, right?
Yes.
So that concept of an internal final rule and the concept of a notice of proposed final rule. Can you tell us a little bit about what the difference is between those two and what the implications would be?
Yeah, definitely. So what those are is that is kind of the next procedural step as far as what the OMB is to do now with the rules package that could end up being the new DFARS clause. And they both revolve around the concept of this is a final rule. This is changes. This is, again, from the Department of Defense's standpoint, language that they're comfortable seeing in contracts. And so what has to happen now is the way this will be rolled out, we'll either have one more opportunity for public comment, and that's the notice of proposed final rule. Essentially, at that point, it is a final rule action, but it's just saying to the general public at large, you have one more opportunity to weigh in comments on this. It does add some time before that movement to actual contract clauses changed. The alternative is that they don't think that we need one more round of public comments, which, to be fair, they have done public comments on these proposed rules over the past few years. So if they decide that they've heard all the comments, they don't need any more, then they could pass that as an interim final rule. And if they do that, then we're looking like it's a 90-day timer until we start having this new DFARS clause floating around. So really it kind of comes down to, does OMB believe that they need to have another round of public comments? If there is, then we'll get some more time in this process. If there's not, well, then we'll kind of head straight to the finish line.
So interim final rule, we could see CMMC requirements after 90 days, so January 2024, roughly.
Right.
If we go the proposed final rule, that would extend it a year?
That would be most likely. So then we're looking at January 2025.
Would it be January 2025, or would it be, being that they'd be coming out of this in October, would it be October of 2024?
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great question. I think really what it comes down to is we do have a lot more certainty about timeframes because we know where we're at in the rulemaking process. But it's not an exact science. I mean, there's still going to be some leeway here and there.
25, somewhere in that window. Okay.
Yeah. And that's also assuming that we have exactly in October the rule. If we get it pushed into November, because they're taking more towards the higher end of the 90 days, then, that also is going to push things back. So it's kind of a little up in the air on that, but not by much at this point.